Welcome to Lang Park for the grand final, the Brisbane competition. It's a repeat of our grand final 2 weeks ago in the Queensland Cup when Redcliffe scored that dramatic win after the bell. Well, East are out for revenge. Maybe they can share the premierships, or maybe Redcliffe can have a double celebration. David Wright with us again in commentary. Last time this year. Should be another beauty like last time, but can Redcliffe win too?
I think they can, Jerry. I think they can make history here this afternoon because I don't think there's as much pressure on them as there will be on the Tigers. Really, they'll have nothing to lose out here today, Redcliffe. They've already won the big one. This will be a bonus for them. The other thing too is this will be their only third game in 6 weeks. So I think they're going to come in fresh. They won't have any injury worries at all. I think the Tigers have. They've got a couple of wounded players from 2 weeks ago in Peter Turner and also Chris Beattie. They'll play today, but I'm not so sure they're 100% fit. Perhaps the biggest hurdle the Dolphins have got to get over, though, is whether they get over those celebrations. 3 games in 6 weeks is one thing, but 300 stubbies in the last 2 weeks, that might be a bigger hurdle to overcome. It'll be the last 10 or 15 minutes that'll take its toll on the Dolphins. I want to be in front by that stage, I would suggest. They've got a very good attacking side, and I think we're going to see plenty of that this afternoon. Let's have a look at the team. It's exactly the same side that took the field 2 weeks ago in the grand final, although there has been one change to the squad. Adam Mogg is at fullback. Selwyn Toby comes in on the wing because George Wilson's been a naughty boy during the week. Apparently he hasn't attended all his training runs. He's still in the squad, though. In the centres, Cameron Horan and Bevan Canning, they're pretty handy. The hero of 2 weeks ago, Anthony Singleton, perhaps he'll have to be called on again to kick some special goal. Peter Robinson will lead by example, as he always does. Gould, who threw that magic pass to set up the try in the last 40 seconds of the grand final. Hinchy, who scored it, gives them great balance. Ian Graham will play his last game this afternoon for Redcliffe after captaining the side a couple of years ago. Lindsay, Ackerman and Cleal in the front row. The coach is John Boxall. It's a very good outfit. Jerry, I think they can make history and win 2 grand finals in 2 weeks.
Thanks a lot, Dave. And Greg Dowling, as far as East are concerned, great disappointment last time. They've got a chance to make amends.
Yeah, they have, but ball control has got to be their top priority here this afternoon. If you go back to that grand final 2 weeks ago, they led Redcliffe 16-6 with 13 minutes to go. But by turning over the ball as many times as they did, this enabled Redcliffe to get the necessary possession that saw them win in the dying seconds. The key players again here for East this afternoon come from the 2 front rowers, well, the hooker and the front rower, and Graham Cotter and Dale Williams. They provide a lot of the go-forward momentum for East, and if they can look after that, and a lot of the attack will come around the ruck from them. This will enable the captain, Mark Cesarago, to sit out 1 and 2 passes wide of the ruck. There he'll link up with the speed man. And also Leon Yateman at fullback. Since he's overcome that hamstring injury, which has limited his appearances this year, he has made every post a winner. He's a very strong attacking player and very sound in defence. They also have named the same 13 that went down to Redcliffe 2 weeks ago. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. Leon Yateman's a fullback. Robbie Braun and Peter Turner are the wingers, with Beattie and Baker at the centres. The halves are Sippel and McPherson, with Wakefield, Cesarago and Evans make up the back row. Nielsen, Williams and Cotter are a strong front row, and their coach is Gavin Payne. It is a big day for both clubs here this afternoon, with East just pipping Redcliffe at the post for the club championship. So it comes as no surprise that these 2 clubs feature in all 3 grade grand finals here this afternoon. I'm going for East in the big one, because revenge is sometimes a great motivational tool.
And the Redcliffe team led out by Ian Graham. Ian Graham going out, obviously a special tribute to him. And there's Selwyn Toby, part of the lineup. And Redcliffe looking to get 2 in a row. They've won the Queensland Cup. Can they win the Brisbane Premiership as well? They look pretty relaxed about it all as they come out for this grand final of the Brisbane Premiership.
The Tigers have been out on the field for quite some time, and they've stood in a bit of a huddle there. They've been out there now for around about 3 or 4 minutes, so they've been made to wait by the Dolphins, and still they retain that huddle, last-minute thoughts. Dougie Evans in the middle there having a few words to say. Cesarago's had his bit to say as well, the skipper. And finally they now dispersed to take up their positions and receive the kick-off from Gould. There's Peter Robinson, the captain of Redcliffe. And the boys look like they've had a fairly uniform haircut. And not to be outdone, Travis Baker, who normally wears that style, is also cut for speed this afternoon. And it should be a very fast and open game.
Stewie Burnt is the referee. Anthony Singleton will be kicking off. He's also had his curly locks cut short. It's not easy for the commentators when they do things like that, but not to worry. Nielsen takes it forward. He's still got his rich dark hair and is caught just short of his own 20-metre line. As the Tigers have the first use of the ball, Graham Cotter, the Tigers in the gold and black, running left to right on the screen, and Graham Cotter showing his power and strength. Jeff Wakefield up almost to the halfway, or 10 metres short of it, and he's lost the ball. What will the ruling be?
Yeah,
knock on.
Lost it forward. Cleal it was, who came in very heavily to make that tackle to dislodge it. Redcliffe in the last two occasions have come up winners, 18-14 in the semi-final 4 weeks ago, and in the Queensland Cup Grand Final it was 18-16. So Redcliffe have managed 18 points, which has been enough on both occasions.
If they get 18, East will be looking for 19 today. Anthony Singleton with the offload, and Redcliffe, they're in East territory by just 3 or 4 metres. So a chance for them to develop something. Richard Ackerman at dummy half, and so they pick up another just 1 or 2 metres that time. The early stages will just be a settling period as Peel takes it across the 40, and still they've got a fair way to go, and the tackle's starting to run down already, but making use of the ball this time as Redcliffe up to about 33 metres out. Cameron Harron caught with the ball, and here's a good strong one by Aaron Douglas. Straight through the middle, Douglas heads for the line, and his tackle just 10 metres short, and that's the 5th tackle. So now it's going to be spread. Long cut-out pass. Hinchy with the offload to Selwyn Toby. Stepping back inside. He's close to the line. Lost the ball. East come up with it. The Tigers breathe a sigh of relief. And I think it might be Dale Williams who's been able to save the day there as Leon Yateman runs the ball out from his own line.
Redcliffe showing just how dangerous they are in attack. Aaron Douglas was the one who probed up the middle of the ruck. It appeared that Cesarago couldn't change direction for whatever reason there in the middle of the ruck, and Douglas went straight past him, and ultimately Selwyn Toby went within half a metre or so of scoring in the far corner. Greg, it started as a hot pace, and Redcliffe prepared to throw the ball around.
You're right, David, what you said last week. The pressure is off Redcliffe at the moment, and you're right, they're throwing the ball around. They've got nothing to lose, but the conditions down here are magnificent for football. The breeze, there's a strong northwesterly blowing that will favour East in this first half. The ground is a picture.
Once again, Redcliffe stepping through. That was Mogg who just stepped away from Wakefield. So Redcliffe managing to elude defenders. Selwyn Toby tries to duck out of the dummy half position. Redcliffe will become leg weary, is my prediction, as the game goes on. Having played only 3 games in the last 6 weeks, certainly there wouldn't have been any intensive training in the first 10 days after the final at least. And here's a high shot.
Don't go into it. Don't come into it.
Punch
let
up.
Go, let go.
Doug
let
Evans
go.
doesn't want to carry it on. Let's have another look at it. James Hinchy, the hero, the try scorer. Doug Evans high. And a penalty has gone to the Dolphins.
Hey. That's enough. That's enough. Hey, come here. Hey, come here.
A bit of foul language coming there from a few of the players. Not happy with...
I'm going to talk to you about that incident down there before I called the hands away from the face. I'm letting you know, keep the hands away from the face, all right? 11.
Dougie Evans has been called over now. And there's no surprise in this, Greg, is it? Doug Evans and Cleal, they're both getting warned early in the piece.
No, they clashed in that Queensland Cup final where Cleal come out and took Dougie Evans out. But I tell you what, as we were talking off air, there will be a few square-ups here, but I thought it might have come a bit later in the game, but no love lost between these two.
I think every opportunity is going to be one that they'll look toward. Now the Dolphins get back on the attack again through this penalty. Oh, just in time, Cleal. The pass was flat up to Ackerman. Here's Redcliffe starting to show caution to the wind already. They've already got some silverware on the sideboard. They're trying to get the Brisbane final as well. It's never been done before to win both. This time, Troy Lindsay gets it to midfield just outside the 20. Options both sides, and that's the way Redcliffe like to play it. They come back to the left. Gould fires the long pass out, taken by Mogg. Mogg grubbers it through. That's play on. Hinchy grubbers it again. Gateman there to cover it. And this will be interesting. Was that
Number
knees?
Number five.
Aaron Douglas.
Careful the knees, mate.
Yes, it was. Aaron Douglas there coming through as Yateman was on the ground and talking back. Stewie Burnt's not going to have any of that. We saw a game get out of hand, I thought, last week between the Tigers and the Devils. There it is. Then tried to be dived on. Here will be the knee incident. Yes, no need for that at all from Aaron Douglas as he came over the top on Yateman.
So East are just 5 metres short of the halfway and using the ball as the cut-out pass goes to Doug Evans. He's caught right on that halfway line.
Up and off. 11.
No scorers yet in the grand final.
Dougie Evans,
Premiership.
Dougie Evans talking back to Stewie Byrne here. Sorry, Jerry. Doug Evans had got the penalty.
When the player is on the ground, it's my responsibility to get him off you, okay? I don't want to see the fist clenched and give him one in the med, all right? Keep it out. Just settle down and play footy.
Okay, Stewie Byrne making sure he takes full control early, and I think that's good refereeing.
You're dead right there, David. It's good to see sanity prevailed, and they did award the top referee to look after this final.
So the Tigers, Nielsen now, 30 metres out from the line, and good defence as they move up very quickly. That was James Hinchy, or Ian Graham, with a tremendous tackle. Now, previously in the other minor grade grand finals, the Colts, Redcliffe beat East by 46 points to 4, and Redcliffe also got up in reserve grade as we see a break here, and a chance for the Tigers in A grade rather. Redcliffe 30 beat East 26. So Redcliffe have won the 2 grand finals decided here so far. Nielsen with the offload to McPherson, trying to duck through, but he can't make it. And so 8 metres out, McPherson goes to ground. Cesarago, the captain, is at dummy half. Scott Sipple with the pass to Evans, but Evans is claimed by Graham. Can't get away from him. Did manage to slip the pass back to Williams, but he had nowhere to go, and that's the 5th. Now, Travis Baker with a little kick through, perhaps looking for that goal. And Moult did well to get into the field of play. Excellent work by the Redcliffe fullback.
Good positional play by Moult to cover that kick because it was angled back toward the middle of the ruck. Moult in perfect position, and he also does well to dive forward and make sure he didn't stay upright with a chance of being caught. Oh, touching tackle by Cotteron. Cleo forces the error. Cleo's down. More trouble.
No, he did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Just turn around.
Plenty of feeling in this game.
Shush.
Let's have another look at it over the top there. Well, that was just the finishing incident. Peter Robinson came over the top. Cleo is in big trouble. Full front-on tackle by his opposite number in Graham Cotter, the ex-Redcliffe player. Cleo, who caused havoc last week. Crunch. That's just a big shoulder hit. Actually, the contact up high was with the shoulder. And I would suggest that Cleo ultimately then has lost that cold. He's going to have a bit of a spell. But that's another indication of how East are fuming over the incident in the last grand final 2 weeks ago, when they believe Cleo took a cheap shot on Doug Evans just after the try had been scored by Dale Williams. Chris Beattie, who was injured last week, also didn't finish the grand final 2 weeks ago. He's getting some more attention. Penalty, it's going to be play on from this situation. Stewie Byrne, but here Chris Beattie, who left the field in similar condition 2 weeks ago. I'd suggest that's a recurrence. He came to the field wounded, and he's in a bit of trouble now. Perhaps a needle is the only thing that will allow him to continue. We'll wait and see. The Tigers now back to Leon Yateman with a little inside pass. Williams quickly into dummy half. There's McPherson. Long pass out to Sipple. Sipple lets one go. Tries to step through himself. Cotter was taken out. Under plenty of pressure now, the Dolphins defence. They're right on the back foot. Out of dummy half goes Nielsen. Tries to push forward. That goes pretty close too. But there's a wall of Dolphin defenders there to push him back. That's only the 3rd tackle. The Tigers in great attack position. They scored the first try in the grand final a couple of weeks ago. Wakefield's knocked that back. They've lost momentum. Pass back here now to McPherson. McPherson finally taken. That's the 4th tackle. They lost 10 metres. Chance now for Travis Baker to work some magic. Fires the pass out here to Cesarago. Numbers here if Leon Yateman can offload. Brushes out of one. Fires out to Robbie Braun. 1-on-1. No, he's hit the corner. He's actually put his foot. Yeah, he's hit the corner post at the ruling. The ball will come back to the 20-metre line. Let's have a look. Went close.
He sure did. He was... Well, his foot went on the line there.
I thought that was the case, Jerry. I think it should have been a 10-metre scrum for going into touch rather than hitting the corner post first. And Redcliffe live to fight again.
Well, not only that, of course, they've managed to take it another 20 metres so that they're now just 10 short of the halfway instead of winning a scrum only a few metres out from their own line. So they've come out pretty well out of that, and they go across the halfway line through Tony Gould. And he scored about 5 or 6 metres in East Territory. Now the kick by Singleton.
Good kick too.
It is, and Leon Yateman is not back there, so Peter Turner has to go back and dive on the ball. Has he put it down? No, the referee has allowed him to just play on. The way he picked that ball up was as if he was actually placing it. It was interesting. We see the chase back here. The ball goes into the end goal. And there, is that actually a touchdown? The referee allowed him to have it as a pickup.
Bevan Canning there elected to try and go at the ball instead of the player. Had he crunched Turner in that situation, he would have at least got a goal line dropout. Instead, he seemed to let Turner slip by.
Cesarago just 15 short of the halfway line. And that's the 5th tackle. So Dale Williams to dummy half, and we'll see the kick from Sippel. And he drives it downfield. Selwyn Toby's wing. The ball rolling towards touch, but it's going to go to touch in goal. And so Redcliffe will be able to bring it back to the 20.
Greg, indication of that breeze behind the Tigers in the first half.
Yeah, you see that one. He didn't really kick it that hard, but it just floated in the breeze. I tell you what, boys, what a game we got in our hands here this afternoon.
Certainly open, both sides prepared to chance their hand. There's no great surprise. East are the ones who are desperate. They need to get a win up to redeem what happened, what they would class as a tragic event from 2 weeks ago. And they got pipped at the post. The kick after the bell.
The big difference is between the 2 weeks that Redcliffe have had off. They've started this game a lot better than what they did in that final 2 weeks ago, David.
Yeah, they're full of confidence. But will they have enough gas in their tank? That's the big question that I've got in my mind. Can they keep it going? Gould gets this good kick away. Yankman's well and truly got this one covered, although it's bouncing toward the touchline. Certainly wasn't from outside the or inside the 40, so it'll be loose head and feed to the Tigers. Here's Gould, a very, very accomplished kicker, got a favourable bounce, and Robbie Braun couldn't get there in time. And with the attentions of Aaron Douglas, perhaps he was better off letting it go over the touchline.
And Jamie Day has just gone on to replace Ian Graham.
Hold.
I think we'll see plenty of interchange in that Redcliffe outfit today, because they're going to feel the pinch. I know the East boys, whilst they had a few drinks after their grand final, their mind was always on this match. They wanted to beat North and get a second go at them. They got their chance. Boy, they got a great chance to perhaps overcome the disappointment. Dale Williams searches up the middle after a good pass there from Dougie Evans.
Another aspect of it is it's fairly warm too at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so anybody who has been partying a bit will be feeling that heat.
Travis Baker does well to stand in that tackle, pops it out now. Cotter. The Redcliffe defence is busy at the moment. Will they be able to continue to push themselves around the park? It's going to get harder. Up the middle goes Sippel. That inside pass will be dangerous for them today. Scott Nielsen flicks it out the back door, picked up by Williams. They're going to play a bit of helter-skelter stuff as well. Dougie Evans finally gets a hold of it and driven into the ground. That's the 5th tackle. Finally up to play at Evans. Back now to Cesarago, hoisted in the air. Plenty of time though for Singleton, I think it is. Takes it on the full in his own in-goal area, and Redcliffe would do well to take a breather and bring it back on the 20-metre line. They don't take much of a breather as George Wilson gets on the park, having not started this game because of some disciplinary reasons during the week. Russell Layup also on there, so I expect to see quite a bit of interchange from Redcliffe this afternoon.
Well, it's already happening, isn't it?
Yep.
Chris Essex is on as well.
Now the Dolphins. Thomas Hinchy throws the dummy to Gould, but Scott Nielsen didn't buy it. This time Russell Layup up the middle. Gets it almost up to halfway on the 5th tackle. Gould with plenty of time to get his kick in. Yateman's got this one covered, but it still eludes him. Plenty of time though to turn and pick it up. The chase was steady, but not frantic by any means. Yateman complained to the touch judge, and while he was doing that, Gould went on with the tackle.
Aaron Douglas was certainly forced backwards there as he came in for the tackle. McPherson with the offload. Cotter's left it behind. Chance for Redcliffe. Will this be ruled a knock-on?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So here's a great chance for the Dolphins. They'll have the scrum feed just 20 metres out from East line.
Well, the front row, Greg, does not want to pass from dummy half in behind him like that, does he?
No, you've got to put it out in front so he can get that momentum. And already we've seen 2 times East have turned the ball over inside their 30 and given Redcliffe a chance. Remember 2 weeks ago they did the same thing. It cost them the game.
Yes, handling errors. 3 to East, 2 to Redcliffe, and now Redcliffe's real chance. Singleton, George Wilson looming out wide, but Singleton takes the tackle just 21 metres out from the East line. Now stepping back inside Russell Layhiff, but again the defence is there to meet him through Wakefield. Can Redcliffe cause some sort of an opening here and score the first points of the grand final? So far no score between the two of them. As the ball is played, and Ackerman goes from dummy half. He's to within about 5 metres of the line.
Inside the 10.
Yes, he's penalised. So what will Redcliffe maintain this pressure or just take 2 points? They'll take the 2 points, and it's in a pretty handy position for Anthony Singleton.
Worth having another look at it. Scott, there's the referee well and truly back. Nielsen wasn't back with him, and Ackerman, give him a bit of credit too for perhaps even spotting that. The referee will often call players offside, so it may well have been that Ackerman not only spotted it, but also heard the referee call him out of play. He ran at him and basically demanded the penalty. And Anthony Singleton, who his last kick on this ground 2 weeks ago was the ultimate in pressure, you'd have to suggest this one a lot closer and a lot more carefree.
It's interesting to see how the two sides have gone into this game, David. Remember 2 weeks ago, Redcliffe won the toss and they ran into the breeze, whereas East won the toss this time and they're running with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Redcliffe will desperately need that breeze at their back in the second half, so it's an interesting decision by the Tigers. Anthony Singleton, you'd have to think after his effort of it 2 weeks ago, this one will be like shelling peas. Maybe the haircut is the only thing that's different. Singleton always takes plenty of time with his kicks. Can he make it 2-0 in the grand final? Yes, he can. Reads it perfectly, slightly into the breeze on this occasion, although it does gust from time to time. And Redcliffe have got first points. They lead by 2 points to 0 after 15 minutes of the grand final, the Brisbane grand final. Redcliffe earned the right to play in this game, having won the Queensland Cup. East had to fall back and play North last week in a very interesting match where North had a player sent off when they were on top. Not a very good kick there from Leon Yateman, picked up ultimately there by Aaron Douglas. Pops it up to Russell Laeth, and crunching defence by Doug Evans and Scott Nielsen. Out of dummy half goes Aaron Douglas. He has a bit of a pirouette, bounces away from one of his own players.
Is that Mickey Hancock out there?
This time Grant Cleal, he's back on now after that heavy knock he suffered about 5 minutes ago. That's their third tackle, the Dolphins. This time Essex, he's called number 6 out before you could hear Sipple was called out of play. This time James Wilson running into a real hornet's nest there. That's the 5th. They've got it inside Tigers territory. Good territorial position to kick from. And Singleton gets an up and under kick there, wanting to sit up. That's exactly what's happened. Turner's just turned in time to get a hold of it. Nice kick from Singleton. You could see him kick under that ball there. He didn't want it to run on. He wanted it to pop up. It's exactly what happened, and Turner had it well covered.
Yes, it would have been a nightmare for Peter Turner when he saw the way it bounced and knowing that there were Redcliffe followers coming through there. Now Nielsen takes it across the 20-metre line for East, with Redcliffe leading by 2 points to 0. And we're already almost midway through the first half. Doug Evans picks up a little bit of ground and they get a penalty. Offside Redcliffe. No, it's Cleal being called out here.
And it's on Dougie Evans as well. There's an ongoing battle between these two. Let's hear it.
When you come over the top, the elbow hit the ground. Hey, missed his head, but don't let it happen again. Be careful.
Be careful is the warning. Let's have a look. Doug Evans takes it forward. Cleal, oh yes, was unnecessary. And Stewie Burnt kicked it perfectly. He might have missed. I think that was more chance than anything. That's Lockwood.
Yes, and they're now 10 metres into Redcliffe's territory, the Tigers, looking to see if they can do something. Cesarago turns it back inside, and now Smith out wide, can slip it back to Leon Yateman. Yateman, 30 metres out, he goes to ground. James Hinchy over the top. So the East Tigers, they'd love to score the first try in the grand final. They haven't got the first points on the board. Cesarago caught 30 metres out, able to get the pass back to McPherson. Across the 20 he goes and slips it back again to Williams. Now Evans. Evans has a man outside, but he's looking back inside and takes the tackle 15 metres out. The East Tigers, can they score a try? McPherson links up. Travis Baker almost left it behind. Able to get it back to Yateman. Yateman through the middle. Tackle 12 metres short of the line. Wakefield in a dummy half. And this is the fourth tackle as it's Cesarago. They spread it wide again. Nice offload there to Evans, but he can't get rid of it. Williams the last man there, so he's able to get in to be a dummy half. They're just 10 metres out, and this is the 5th tackle. Cesarago with the little grubber. Kicked again, but over the dead ball line.
Back to the 20.
And so Redcliffe are able to take it back to the 20-metre line. Some good attacking play there from the Tigers, but unable to get through. It's still 2-0 in favour of Redcliffe over East.
Excellent work from the Tigers. They do look dangerous when they get down this area of the park. So they're certainly in here to compete today. They're not going to be out-attacked by the Dolphins by any means. Clear the play at this time. Ian Graham has had a spell on the bench, comes forward. It'll be interesting to see how John Boxall uses his unlimited interchange. Gould tries to shuffle across the face of the defence, but just hasn't got enough time to offload. The pass this time back to Singleton. It wasn't the last tackle, so they're keen to play it down the other end. But not a good kick, and Turner picks it up fairly comfortably. He twisted his knee in the grand final and had to leave the field on a stretcher 2 weeks ago, so he's done pretty well to recover in that time.
Anthony Singleton ended up on his back after that kick there too. Certainly Redcliffe wouldn't want to lose him early in this game.
Definitely not. He's one of their key playmakers. This time Lockwood, I like the look of this young guy. He pushes the pass out. Williams gets a hold of it. Doug Evans stutters in front of the defence, fires him back to Nielsen. But the Redcliffe defence is quite sound. That inside pass has been reasonably effective. That's been knocked back. No, knocked forward. In the opinion of Stewie Byrne, I thought Sipple, in fumbling, just managed to drag it back. Let's have a look. I thought that would have gone back, but anyway, the referee's the man in charge.
Come together. Let's go, Robbo. Come on, Robbo, they're ready, mate.
Right in midfield. Robinson to pack, waits for Singleton to come in. Gould tries to kick immediately. He's been charged down. Sipple could get a hold of this and be playing if he can. But Robinson that quickly to cover it. Well done by East to shut down a surprise tactic of kicking from the base of the scrum. Gives an indication of Redcliffe's approach here. It's attack at all costs. They've got the Queensland Cup already on the mantelpiece, and they're prepared to put plenty of attack pressure on the Tigers. Wilson has found touch. Penalties 4-3 in favour of the Tigers, so nothing in that. Cleo brings it forward, gets it to almost 30 out. The Dolphins have also looked dangerous. Elisa well and truly up offside there with Stewie Byrne up over the ruck. Ian Graham gets it to 25 metres out. And he lost it.
No control.
And he lost it. Graham complaining.
Don't blame me.
Graham complaining that the ball was dislodged. Let's have a look. Well, it's on the blind side. You couldn't see there whether Jamie Day interfered. The referee certainly had a good look at it.
So it means that East had a little bit of pressure eased on them. The pressure is maintained, though, by some great tackling there. Chris Essex involved and Peter Robinson in forcing them backwards. So the Tigers are 25 short of the halfway line. They've got a long way to go. And it's Scott Nielsen. Hits the line, and hits him, and he lost it. Yes, Ackerman comes up with it for the Dolphins.
Strong defence again by Cleo, and Hinchy dislodges the ball. East have made too many errors inside their own territory.
Ian Graham is 30 metres out as the Dolphins look as though they can get themselves organised once more. Singleton with the pass out wide and kept alive. Nice backing around there too by Chris Essex. But the referee has picked up an error there, and so another scrum to go down.
Interesting to have another look at it, because I didn't think he lost it forward at all. There was a little wraparound play. Singleton fires the pass up, pops it back. Well, he did lose it forward, then came off Travis Baker. So good refereeing by Stewie Byrne. Even though it hasn't hit the ground, if he loses it forward and it comes off an opponent, it's still a knock-on.
Still waiting.
Still those changes happening, Greg, so Redcliffe are certainly making good use of that interchange bench.
They certainly are. You've got to remember we had a bit of rain here last night, and now the sun's out. The steam will be coming out of the ground, and that's where Redcliffe will feel it in the last 20 minutes.
Leon Yateman, about 12 short of the halfway line, is able to get it away to Smith, who cuts on the pace. But good tackle there, covering and getting right across was Aaron Douglas to ensure that he went to ground. Now the ball carted forward here by Phil Lockwood, and they're 10 metres into Redcliffe's territory. Williams and Sipple on now to McPherson, but boy, there looked like there was half a gap there. He was going to try and duck through, and he had Lockwood pouring through as well. But now the pass goes to Doug Evans. He's caught by Hinchy, able to grab hold of him.
Lost it.
And he's lost it, and so Redcliffe come up with the ball. I think it's Gould isn't about to play the ball, about 12 short of the halfway line. Now there's Gould with the offload. So Redcliffe, Aaron Douglas caught 10 short of halfway. Redcliffe Dolphins leading by 2 points to 0. They've been testing each other out as the defences held strong for both teams. Ackerman, Cleel, hard, straight and across the halfway and into East territory he goes. Ackerman a dummy half. Robinson, Gould, James Hinchy. By the time he got the ball, the defence was up there and all he could do was just try to drive them forward and pick up another few metres. Gould to dummy half. George Wilson. But he's caught. Again, there are plenty of East Tigers willing to take him to ground 10 metres in East territory, and that's the 5th tackle. Gould now the little kick. Adam Mogg with a follow through. Nicely picked up by Robbie Braun and taken to ground by Gould, by Mogg.
Well read there by Rob Braun. He was covering the touchline. The kick went down the middle of the field, and Redcliffe had plenty of chasers. But Rob Braun got across there quickly just to save the day. Chris Beattie back on now. And he had left the field with that rib injury, and he gets up very slowly again. He's in big trouble, Chris Beattie. I'll be very surprised if he can finish this match. He's being very courageous in his attempts to do so, but he's in trouble. Intercept! Cameron Hurren put the glasses down. Hurren picked this one up beautifully. He just angles away from Leon Yateman, and just what the Tigers didn't need, an intercept in a grand final. Redcliffe were quite happy to get a hold of it. I think it may have been Cesarago who threw the pass.
Well, standard moves haven't brought tries so far in this game, and it was probably becoming a little bit frustrating. Cesarago with the offload there. Cameron Hurren going straight inside, accepting the pass, and he was in the clear. There was no chance anybody was going to get to him. He just accelerated to make sure that he got to the line as the cover defence came across. But good try to Cameron Hurren, and Redcliffe have extended the lead.
Very neat intercept this by Cameron Hurren. He read it very well. And the fact that Cesarago got to the line and then faded across slightly, there you can see Hurren was then in a position to read it very well. And had the pass been able to be received by Travis Baker, it may have been a different story. As is often the case with the intercept, you've got to make a split decision and split-second decision. Cameron Hurren made the correct one. He went for the ball. He blocked the pass. There was no way it was going to get to the hand of Travis Baker. And the Dolphins have got out to a lead of 6 points to 0 with still 15 minutes up to half-time. And Singleton with a chance to convert from not his preferred side, you would say, but a good chance to extend the lead. They lead at the moment by 6 points to 0.
Anthony Singleton, the picture of concentration. The curly hair's gone in honour of the premiership, the Queensland Cup that they've won. And now he's ready to continue their way towards winning the Brisbane premiership as well. He's kicked it pretty well, but no goal. And so the score remains 6 points to 0 in favour of the Dolphins over East. We've got 14.5 minutes to go until half-time.
Well, here East are trying to get on the outside here. You can see them up there, but Cesarago throwing the long ball, trying to hit Travis Baker, but Cameron Hurren, he read it beautifully and put the big mid out. The ball stuck and took it over. Scored a great try at 6-0. They're looking dangerous, Redcliffe, because remember, they will have this breeze in the second half.
And the Tigers must be thinking it's a cruel, cruel world at the moment.
Well, they're their own worst enemies at the moment, Jerry, because they keep turning the ball over inside their 30. They're giving Redcliffe hope.
The Dolphins now to bring it out. Cleel has had a very strong game, gets hit just as strong. He pops it out the back door, keeps it alive, fires it up there to Miller. This guy can run. He's normally a winger playing in the middle of the ruck. Pops up now. It's been knocked down by Robbie Braun. That'll be a knock on. He'll play the knock on, and therefore it'll be loose head and feet to the Dolphins. Miller searching back on this left-hand side, tried to pop it to Aaron Douglas, and had he been able to, he would have been shut the gate. Robbie Braun was the one who made his split-second decision and blocked the pass.
George Wilson now just short of the halfway and into East territory he goes.
He could have offloaded that. Oh, Ackerman's come the wrong way as well. They had chances on the right.
So they play the ball and they keep it going to the left. And Cleel down his foul shot.
He's going to get it for inside the 10, but I think it's a bit of a, I won't say it's an easy way out, but certainly the crowd thought it was high. Cleel is just putting his body on the line here. He knew he was going to be a target today. because of the incident last 2 weeks ago, and he is not shirking it one little bit.
Well, it means that now the Dolphins have another great chance because they're only 20 metres out. As it's offloaded again to Cleel, and Philly goes forward despite another one that looked a little bit high too. Ackerman a dummy half, away to Robinson, and Miller straight at the line is able to offload. Can Robinson get that pass back? No, he can't. So they lost just a little bit of ground, but still they can keep it going. Troy Lindsay, 15 metres out, he goes to ground. 6 points to 0 in favour of the Dolphins. They're looking to extend the lead. Gould with a held-up pass. George Wilson has to go back to pick it up. Steps away from Aaron Smith, and finally is caught 20 metres out from the line. They lost a bit of ground that time. Away to Robinson. The long pass. Singleton's left it behind. Here's a chance for East now. Across the halfway line goes Chris Beattie, and he's caught. It's Brett McPherson, rather. So McPherson plays the ball. Across field to Sipple, and then further afield to Jamie Day. He's tackled 40 metres out from the line. Day to play the ball. Sipple a dummy half. Cotter still going. Caught 35 out from the line. The Tigers looking to get back into the game, but they won't do it that way. Finally, Cesarago takes it forward. He'll be tackled a little bit more than 30 metres out. Dale Williams a dummy half. Across it goes to McPherson. Looking for the grubber for Travis Baker, but Selwyn Toby cleans up beautifully. 12 metres out from his own line. And East were really looking like they were on an attacking move there as Adam Mogg is dragged to ground.
They didn't wait till the last tackle to put that grubber kick through either, and Selwyn Toby turned very quickly and really was not taking... Oh, a terrible pass out of dummy half up there to, I think it was Wayne Miller. Now the Tigers get their chance, having surrendered possession plenty of times themselves inside their own territory. Now they get a chance with the Dolphins making the error. That's Sipple. The Tigers prepared to keep the ball alive and are looking very dangerous in doing so. Williams out of dummy half, scored a try in the other grand final. Pops it back here to Sipple. Numbers here. Cotter's off. Here goes Douglas. Put your glasses down. The fastest man on the field. Would you believe it? Redcliffe, it's their day at this stage. They've got another runaway try. Aaron Douglas picks up a lost ball by Graham Cotter. The fastest man on the field was not going to get caught over 90 metres. And Redcliffe, the ball bouncing their way. And what they're doing is making the Tigers pay.
Well, it is a cruel, cruel world for the Tigers, but it's made more cruel by the fact that they've been making mistakes. And today, if you make a mistake, Redcliffe, they just pounce on it. And we see it here as they spread the ball to the right. Graham Cotter taking the ball but losing it forward. And Aaron Douglas, it was a gift to him. He loves speed. He's got the ability to just run away from everybody else. And as soon as he had the ball in his hands, he had about 85 metres to go, but you knew immediately that it was going to be a try to Redcliffe, their second try, and it extends their lead to 10 points to 0.
Incredible, Jerry. As you say, it's a cruel world. We've had 2 tries so far, and both tries have started with a play the ball from East. One was a clean intercept, that one a lost ball, a good tackle, that one from Wilson, and then the beautiful running style of Aaron Douglas with his knee very, very heavily strapped, and this will be sweet for Aaron Douglas because he injured that knee in the grand final last year against Toowoomba. He's fought back well to play in 2 grand finals, and there, the strong tackle by Wilson, the ball goes on the deck. Aaron Douglas, it just bounces up beautifully for him. There was no way this guy was going to get caught. The only way it wasn't going to be a try was some freak incident of loss of ball, and Aaron Douglas comfortably slid across the try line to ensure there was no lost ball. The Dolphins 10-0 with 9 minutes up to half-time. Singleton could make it 12-0, and there'd be a certain irony there because East led 12-0 2 weeks ago in the Queensland Cup.
And this is round about the spot that Anthony Singleton kicked the conversion 2 weeks ago to win the Queensland Cup. So let's see if he tries a similar style. Well, this time it's more to the middle. Last time he almost gave us heart failure, but this time he's put it between the uprights. And so it's 12 points to 0 in favour of Redcliffe over East.
Well, they had half an opportunity here, East, as Graham Cotter tried to get on the outside of Wilson. It was a top tackle. That's what made it. Strip the ball, and then Aaron Douglas, he was the man on the spot and had too much speed for the cover defence. Look at him sprinting out there, and he'll dive shortly. Good try.
Kick off, and East have 8 minutes to try and score in this first half, because if they don't, well, then they've got a real job in front of them in the second half, because the Dolphins playing with confidence, knowing that they've beaten East once before, knowing that East would be desperate. They have everything in their favour, and the Dolphins are looking good as Chris Essex is caught just short of his own 20-metre line.
And one thing you can be assured of too, Jerry, is they'll use this breeze. The kickers in Singleton and Gould, they'll pin East back in their quarter.
Robinson with the offload to Layhill.
Wouldn't there be an irony, Jerry, if East could manage a try up to half-time? It was 12-6 in their favour in the grand final 2 weeks ago at half-time. Hinchy, little dummy, there's Hurren, gets held, he's been knocked forward. Here's a chance for the Tigers. They'll get loose head and feed from the scrum, and just perhaps the Tigers can reply prior to half-time.
I didn't think so.
Handing errors 7 and 6, so obviously nothing in that, and both sides been prepared to chance their arm. McPherson to put it in. Sipple fires it up there to Leon Yateman. Yateman tries to get through the defensive line, but can't. Good quick play, the ball be pretty handy. A face ball across the front of Mills. Travis Baker gets it, but not in good position to do much with it. Aaron Smith, Sipple, Cotter, very flat. The Redcliffe defence moving up quickly to make sure he doesn't get too far over the advantage line. Here's a chance for the Tigers out wide. Nielsen, the defence is also strong though. And Scott Nielsen can't get that left hand free, as he so often does, to pop a pass out. Cesarago to Sipple. Here's big Steve Mills. The pass was in behind him. He bumps out of one, gets the hand free, pops it out to Yateman. Good defence though. Fires it out. It's gone forward again. Now it's been touched. Another chance for the Tigers. If they can move it to the left, they're a good chance. But they've got Jamie Day runs out of dummy half. Good strong defence there to bring him to ground by Bevan Canning. Sipple gets it up to Cotter. Strong defence also by Troy Lindsay. Cotter's thrown it out the back door. Picked up there by Aaron Smith. The Tigers want to try on before half-time. Cesarago, pass around there to Williams. Williams pops it up to Nielsen, but the defence is very good. Wayne Miller was there. Mills is on the left. So is Sipple. There's plenty of defence there, though. Mills tries to get through, can't get it. Yes, he can get it away to Sipple. He's lost it, though. He's lost it.
Double off, first by East. I thought it red hand blocked it forward. First by East.
Lost it initially forward, and the chance for the Tigers that they were desperately needing. There's Mills in traffic, pops it up to Sipple. Sipple, lost control of the ball, and it'll be loose head and feed to the Dolphins with 5 minutes up to half-time. 12-0 in favour of the Red and Whites.
And Redcliffe have again been able to withhold these Tigers. When we saw those handling errors at 7 and 6, it looks like there's not much between them, but sometimes you pay for errors, and East have paid dearly today. So it's Redcliffe, and there's that man Miller again with a nice offload, and still Cameron Hurren. Aaron Douglas, rather, the speedster who scored that previous try, is caught 5 short of the halfway line. Pass going back inside from Ian Graham, and is taken now just 3 or 4 metres short of the halfway line. James Hinchy with the offload. Singleton goes back inside. He has a long pass. He was ready to deliver, but there was nobody to send it to, and that's the 5th tackle. Now we'll see the kick. No, we won't. They're going to use it. Gould with a long cutout pass to Adam Mogg. Handed back inside, and they keep it alive. Long pass from Gould again. Those long passes are so effective for them. James Hinchy gets it further afield and caught about 5 metres. Kick forward. Here's a chance. Selwyn comes with a chase. Another little kick again. Can they score? No. Penalty goes to East.
In front of the kicker. In front of the kicker. Would you believe? You could hear Stewie Byrne calling out, give him 10.
Well, basically inside the 10. Okay, let's leave it at that.
Well, that's interesting because I didn't really think it was a play-on situation. It was the 6 tackle play. They kept it alive extremely well. That's the kick forward. And perhaps Stewie Byrne is right there that they were in front of the kicker. As soon as they then got involved in play, they were then in the offside position as soon as they got inside the 10 metres of the ball. So the Tigers, well, that's a reprieve. That could easily have gone their way, or gone against them again, I should say. There's been 2 almost freakish tries for them to trail by 12 points to 0. Mills fires it out the back. They don't need to panic pass. Another chance here for the Dolphins now. Bevan Canning can't get away from the slide of Aaron Smith. Quickly up Redcliffe. Redcliffe are playing hot potato football. Essex to step back on the inside. 3 minutes up to half-time. If the Dolphins can get another one, It's almost shut the gate. Russell Laib, East realise it. They must hang on here to stay in the grand final, the Brisbane grand final. Troy Lindsay gets it to the 20-metre line. Redcliffe in good shape either side of the ruck. Here's Robinson up here to Essex. The long pass out here to Hinchy. Hinchy tries to step past McPherson but can't. They've wrapped up the ball. Aaron Smith was one of them with the arms around the ball. Up to play it. Mogg is at dummy half. That's Robinson. Back on the inside there, Laith. Good strong defence though by Jamie Day. That's the 5th. Redcliffe in great shape, both sides. They come. Oh, Mogg straight up the middle. Mogg has made it. Oh no, the Tigers went to sleep after an untidy play the ball. And Adam Mogg zeroed straight up the middle and got close enough to the try line to reach out. The Dolphins, well, they made it 16-0, and there's only 2 minutes up to half-time.
Yes, and it was the Tigers who needed to score just before half-time, but it's Redcliffe. Adam Mogg couldn't believe it. He looked past the ball, looked up, there's nobody there. Through the gap he goes, and a try to Redcliffe, and that is going to make the second half very, very tough for East.
Jerry, I think there's an irony here. I think one of the East players were actually blocking the pass from Mogg. I think it might have been Jamie Day who'd been involved in the tackle. Here he is there, the number 15. Now have a look at this. Great camera angle this. Mogg was going to pass. And ironically, East were in the road, so Mogg said, oh, I'm going to have to run. And the gap was then there. I don't think he realised it until that time. And the game flooding the Dolphins' way.
The look of surprise was extraordinary, wasn't it? You could see the suddenly the eyes lighting up as if to say, I don't believe this. It's suddenly been provided for me. And so Adam Mogg at just 19 years of age and has been playing very well for Redcliffe, has given them a great chance of winning their second premiership in 2 weeks.
Well, East have been their own worst enemies. It was, I think, a pass by Steve Mills, perhaps only on the second or third tackle, that caused a changeover of possession with minutes going up to half-time. If you're down 12-0 at half-time, you've got a genuine chance. It's 16-0 now with the kick to come. Singleton, well, he just latched these up. You'd have to back him in, Greg, wouldn't you?
Oh, you're dead right there, mate. Mr. Ice Cool.
Anthony Singleton then, again, an easier kick than the previous one, which he had few problems with. And he should convert this one. Looks pretty good. Up go the flags. And Redcliffe, well, they're really dominating now, leading by 18 points to 0.
Well, this came off, as you said, Mills dropping the ball, but Adam Mogg, he couldn't believe it. Jamie Day got in the road, and then he thought, God, there it is. He went over and scored the try. And at 18-0, it's going to be a big ask for East to come back.
Yes, and the half-time hoot has gone too, so East have a huge job to do in the second half. Running against the breeze and trailing by 18 points to 0, so not surprisingly, the heads are hanging a little bit low for the Tigers because they know they've got a big job in front of them. And Redcliffe, nice and relaxed, having won the Queensland Cup, they can go to half-time knowing that they've got this game almost in hand already. At half-time, Redcliffe 18, East 0. And Sipple with the kick-off, East running right to left in this second half. And Gould taking the ball and offloading, and Redcliffe, I think that was Big Cleo, was it? Yes, caught about 15 short of the halfway line. So again, Redcliffe, they just look to be playing with so much confidence. And when you're playing with confidence, the luck goes with you as well. Ian Graham caught 15 short of the halfway line. John Boxall must be very pleased with himself, the coach of the Redcliffe team. He's down on the sideline with Greg Dowling.
Well, John, that's a great first half by the Redcliffe side, running into their breeze. You've come up with the 3 tries. Like I said, it's a great... The boys are really throwing the ball around.
Yeah, Greg, we've talked about it all week. We're going out there to enjoy ourselves. I don't think last time we played to our potential, last game we met East. So we're out there to enjoy ourselves and, play good footy.
Well, every drink they were having up there the last week is certainly paying dividends, but the pressure, as you said, is certainly not on them at the moment. They're playing as if they are enjoying themselves.
Yeah, mate, it's a pretty basic game, We've been pretty fortunate too. They would come up with some intercept try and we drop ball down the other end for us. So, we've got 40 minutes to go and hopefully we can, get away with it.
What can we see in this last 40 minutes of boys? No doubt Gould and Singleton will use this breeze to its max.
Yeah, well, mate, we talked about that at half-time and hopefully we can use it. But you know, they'll come out and fire, and we just have to use our defence, work our defence a bit more. So.
Well, here's a chance as Sybil heads for the line, and he's caught just short. He lost the ball but was able to regather. If he can play the ball quickly, across it goes Travis Baker with the offload to Nielsen. There are plenty of men in goal out wide. McPherson to Cesarago. He's caught just 5 or 6 metres short of the line. So the East Tigers, Dale Williams to dummy half, showing the ball. There are men out wide. Evans, he can't offload and is driven backwards in a good tackle. And that good tackle coming from Singleton. Cesarago with a high kick. I think it's come off an East Tiger, rebounding off him and caught in the in-goal area there by Aaron Douglas. And so Redcliffe are able to take it up to the 22. Back to you, Greg.
Oh, Box has gone back to his seat. That was enough for him.
Well, they survived that, and they're the sorts of things that might well win them the game too.
Well, they did have to survive the option of just putting that little chip over the top. Douglas always had it pretty well covered. East, I thought, could have made more of that. A great opportunity that was. And East have had a few opportunities. Haven't been able to capitalise. Has probably been the situation in the match. And down on the sideline to reminisce on the first half is East coach Gavin Payne. He's with Greg.
Well, Gavin, there's certainly a lot of effort there from the eastern suburb side, but, you know, just the ball control has certainly let them down.
Yeah, we're not executing too well. We're not finishing our sets very well down the attacking end, neither with our kicking game. So that's a major problem for us.
What can we see in the second half? Naturally, the side has got to score first. They nearly did then.
Oh, mate, you'll see a side that's out there, 17 guys putting their asses into it to get out and win the game. So, mate, I can do no more than that.
Well, thanks for talking to us, and we wish you all the best, Gavin.
Thanks, mate.
Well, there's one person very, very focused on the game, and as determined as what he can get. If his players are as determined as that, they could well pull off a miracle here. Turner under pressure. Redcliffe aren't going to lie down easily, Dave. East are a side, he can score plenty of points. They'll need to keep an open, free-flowing game.
And John Boxall pointed out during the week that they will come back at you, and they have on several occasions against Redcliffe.
Williams pumps down a short blind side. Sipple slips one, tries to get out of another, fires it over the top to Williams. He's under pressure. This is the last tackle. Graham's got a hold of it. It'll be a changeover anyway. And East put themselves under a bit of pressure by shooting down that blind side. You've really got to come out the other side if you elect to go down a short side. There's not a lot of room for manoeuvring. And in doing that, they just basically ran out of territory and manpower. Troy Lindsay gets it onto the open side. Lockwood over the top and Nielsen underneath. Robinson comes from right to left, straightens it back up the middle. Thought about offloading. There's plenty of elbows going in there at the moment. This is unnecessary. Let's hope it doesn't erupt. There's the good kick downfield with the win. Yateman will be hoping this rolls over the dead ball line, and it does. And that'll bring it back to the 20-metre line for a tap.
And that's a good indication of how much this breeze has picked up in the second half, David. He didn't kick that hard, but the wind caught it and rolled it right dead.
Cesarago wanting to get things moving fairly quickly. He realises that time is of the essence. They've got to score more than 3 converted tries. This time Turner. Ackerman, I think, is down injured. Finally gets up. No, he's in trouble, Ackerman. He's stumbled to the right-hand side. Finally getting his bearings and looping back on side is Richard Ackerman. Dummy thrown by Dale Williams, goes up the middle. The defence again strong. Redcliffe are chasing hard in defence. They're not just doing the pretty things. Doug Evans tries to get away.
Don't just stay there. I know, but he's got to get out.
Cesarago takes the quick tap, goes straight forward, but a bit of room to move as well for the big skipper. He's going to lead by example, gets it up inside the 20. Quick play the ball is what the Tigers want. Out here to McPherson. McPherson up to Sipple. Plenty of defence here, and Sipple well and truly covered by Graham as he takes the defensive line on. Here comes Lockwood. He's knocked it forward. Picked up by Mogg. That was the error they couldn't afford. Two. And a penalty here going to go to Redcliffe for stealing the ball. A second man in the tackle. Here it is. Lockwood knocks it forward. Mogg gets a hold of it. 2 defenders then on Mogg. And they stole the ball off him. And Redcliffe, after managing to withstand an onslaught there by the Tigers and another error, they can take the tap.
And Grand Clear immediately takes it into the Tigers' territory by a few metres. So Redcliffe Everything rolling with them so far in this game as Graham steps back inside. They're leading by 18 points, and Lee gets it away to Ackerman, and then further afield, and Robinson has caught 10 metres now in East territory. Ackerman to be a dummy half. Whenever Robinson manages to get to his feet, James Hinchy takes it in the opposite direction and picks up another 10 metres. They're just 30 metres out now, the Redcliffe Dolphins. Away to Robinson. They're standing very deep. The ball actually bouncing before it gets to Singleton. Nicely turned back inside to Wilson. And he's caught 30 metres out. He can offload again. Yes, he can. Hurren with the pass away. Taken forward now by Graham. And Graham, playing his final game for the Dolphins, is caught 25 metres out. They keep it alive now. And Troy Lindsay goes hard and straight to be tackled just 12 metres short. They've got options both sides. Ackerman looks as though he's going to go to the open, but don't be surprised if he goes to blind, and he does. Robinson with a kick through. Yateman will allow it to go across the dead ball line. And no try for the Dolphins, but nothing for East Cedar. It's still 18-0 in favour of Redcliffe.
Not a good kick that from Robinson. The in-goal area here are very big. Williams there coming back into play, showing a little bit of fatigue. But Robinson really needed to keep that at least in the in-goal area, and in allowing it to go dead, he really surrendered 20 metres. Now Doug Evans, who's worked very hard. Russell Layett comes in to put a bone-punching tackle on. Arms flying around. This game could get out of hand. There's plenty of feeling. Travis Baker tries to come back up the middle, but again, the defence of Redcliffe is very strong. Baker got away with that. Lockwood to bring it forward. Travis Baker was told to make a better effort at playing it. He was trying to milk a penalty. Cesarago looks back on the inside, finds it to Williams, back there to Yateman. I thought it was knocked forward. Yateman tries for the sideline, and Aaron Douglas decides to let it simply go over the sideline and take the loose-headed feed. Well, East are trying to keep it alive. They're trying a few little inside passes, but Greg, you've got to also admire the keenness of the Redcliffe defence. They've chased pretty hard today, even with a comfortable lead of 18-0.
Well, that's why they are up 18-0. They're forcing East into mistakes. And we saw up there the good defence on Lockwood. Moving up on him, he spilled it over.
Wilson now to rush away from a couple of defenders, brushes away from another one, chance to offload, gets it out to Bevan Canning, does a little goose step, but Sipple does well to stop and start again. Play the ball now, here's Wilson again. George Wilson gets it up over the advantage line, finally gets put to the ground. Gould, short pass up to Russell Layett, he's lost it. A high tackle, I think it was too. High tackle on Layett.
I wasn't around there.
Worth having another look. Scott Nielsen, yes, he did clip him on the chin. And Stewie Byrne, I just got a feeling he's going to have his hands full. There's a lot of frustration now in the hearts and minds of the Tigers as they see this one slipping away.
Well, I tell you what, David, too, Redcliffe have shared their workload around beautifully. You see the wingers and the centres coming in and doing a lot of the rucking work.
This time it's one of the front rowers in Troy Lindsay doing the traditional stuff. The settler, nice and deep, the Dolphins. Robinson, the defence, come out very quickly. That's why he had to throw the dummy and come back on the inside. Doug Evans manhandles him to the ground. Gould out here to Singleton. Back on the inside to Graham. Graham tries to stand, can't find someone. Yes, he can! Cameron Hurren! Oh, it's gone forward. It's gone forward. Well, it could have been a sensational try. Ian Graham held the ball out for quite some time in an awkward position trying to flick it. And yes, it did go forward. You can see it there. The touch judge called it. Hurren gets called back. It could have been his second.
So it means that the Tigers again have a long way to go. And when you look at the time, 10 minutes of the second half have gone by. They still are on 0. So they just have not worried the scoreboard attendant. And that will become, as David said, somewhat frustrating, and they have to be careful. Aaron Smith goes across field, no room. Just can't find the area where he might be able to straighten up. And Ian Graham was able to combine there with Chris Essex to bring him to ground. So they're 20 short of the halfway line. Doug Evans, hard and straight, Layeth again. He's come up with some big hits in the last few minutes, and they've been very effective. And once more, Ian Graham involved in the tackle. Now McPherson kicks it downfield. Plenty of time for Mogg. to watch this ball, but McPherson comes through, and in the end he had to desperately dive on the ball, 20 short of the halfway line.
There's a lot of second shots going in here now as players are getting taken to ground.
Cameron Hurren 12 short of halfway and driven backwards. The Tigers starting to put a little bit extra energy, as they're going to have to if they're going to get into it. They need to come up with some big hits to see if they can just unsettle Redcliffe somehow or other and get themselves back into the game, because there's well and truly out of it at 18-0 at the moment. So Redcliffe just 5 short of the halfway line. Into the sunshine they go. The sun's been shining on the Dolphins for the last couple of weeks. They've been enjoying life. James Hinchy, hero of the grand final, spits a nice pass to Wilson. Wilson's in the clear. He's got support in Douglas, and over he goes for his second try in the grand final. Aaron Douglas scores again, and Redcliffe might have sewn it up already. They lead by 22 points to 0.
That's more like the Dolphins. That's their best try by far in this particular game. It's their fourth, but they created that very nicely. George Wilson put into a gap, I think, by James Hinchy. Gould out of dummy half. There's Hinchy. Fires the pass up to Wilson. Put him into the gap. He had players either side. Feature of the Redcliffe game was their backup. He decided on Aaron Douglas on the outside. He could have taken Adam Mogg back on the inside. He didn't need him. He had plenty of options. Nice work this from Hinchy. Watch him get to that second man on the outside. Puts Wilson into the gap. The slide for East didn't work for them that time. Mogg could have scored it, but instead Wilson decides that Aaron Douglas deserves number 2, and Adam Mogg assisting him by saying you're well and truly free and you can bring it around closer to the uprights.
And Anthony Singleton would have been appreciating that too. There goes the run by George Wilson. He's made some really great runs in the last few minutes, and the nice offload, and there you see Adam Mogg, traffic cop Adam Mogg, saying get over there as closely as possible, Aaron, to those uprights. And so Aaron Douglas comes up with his 5th try of the season, and that one a decisive one in the grand final, surely, with 26 minutes to go. 22-0 now in favour of Redcliffe, and you can put plenty of money on the fact that Anthony Singleton might extend it a couple of points too to 24-0.
One of the great things about sport is that victory can be so exhilarating, but also defeat can be so demoralising, and the Tigers, who went within 40 seconds of winning the big one 2 weeks ago, are now going to suffer what appears to be a second grand final loss in 2 weeks. We shouldn't have to be put through that, but they were there. It's better than a lot of other sides have been able to achieve. They can lift their heads high as Singleton tries to hoist this one between the uprights. Hits it again perfectly. What a kicking performance by Anthony Singleton. The confidence is summed up in that man. 24-0 in favour of the Dolphins.
Yeah, well read here by Gould. Hits Hinchy. The secret there was Graham Cotter, coming across. Too much pace there for the big centre and Wilson. He had runners either side. Picked out Aaron Douglas, and as you said, Adam Mogg, he's telling him, get over near the post, but with Singleton, you can put him down anywhere. He will kick them. And I suppose the priority now for Redcliffe will be to keep East tryless.
And East in a situation where they're just going to have to score very quickly and do something exceptional if they're going to have any chance. They've got to try and get themselves back into the game, because they just haven't looked like being a part of it so far. It really has been tough for them. Aaron Douglas, the try scorer, well and truly in his own territory. Redcliffe now only have to do everything just slowly and carefully. No silly passes, no need to stretch the point as James Hinchy is forced close to the touchline. No need to go into touch, just keep it in the field of play and play good steady football and use people like Gould for the good long kicks. And Yateman takes it just outside his own line.
Leon Yateman to bring it back. He's confronted again by a good kick chase game from Redcliffe. Remember, their confidence is high. I thought they may flag somewhat in the latter part of this game, having only playing their 3rd game in 6 weeks, but when you look up at the scoreboard, there won't be any suggestion of fatigue setting in here today. Their adrenaline will be just running very high. 4-0 with 24 minutes to go in the 4X Brisbane Grand Final. Sipple, long pass out here to Travis Baker. Baker tries to get around Singleton, but he wraps him up pretty comfortably. Good quick play the ball on the 5th. Sipple angles for the touchline. Pretty good kick too. Although East will merely surrender loose head and feed here, and the Dolphins are quite prepared to see another 30 seconds tick by Cleel back on the field. He's had a grand game.
He's as tough as they come, David. He's from the old school. The more they hit him, the more he'll like it. But I'll tell you what, it's full credit to the Redcliffe conditioner, because they have only played those 3 games and they would have had a couple of days on the drink after winning that final. So they've done well. They are running on here.
Just shows you can train on 4X, Greg.
Well, I would know, David, being a non-drinker like yourself.
Oops, a lost ball. Here's a chance. Lost forward by the Dolphins. And the Tigers would love nothing more than to get some points on. The Dolphins calling the nil points as their catch cry. I'd like to think that he's more than capable of adding a couple of tries. Cesarago standing out of the scrum. Goes straight to Cesarago. They use Steve Mills on occasions in that position, but he's on the bench at the moment. McPherson encouraging his forwards to get moving out of the scrum, and Jamie Day takes the ball back to about where the scrum was. Sipple on the right-hand side. There's Cotter. Cotter tries to break the tackle. Strong defence. Popped it out the back door. Swarming defence by Redcliffe as East look for those precious seconds to offload. Redcliffe are not going to allow them that luxury. Sipple to McPherson. Out here to Cesarago. Here's the little wraparound play. Up there to Mills. Stolen the ball. 1-on-1. That's okay. Play on. Also wasn't knocked on in the opinion of the ref. I thought it may have been dragged forward by Redcliffe. And Bevan Canning gets a hold of it. And another chance the Tigers have had to go on the attack and score some points. Slips away from them. Cleel gets it to outside the 40. Essex, the long pass in behind the attack. Aaron Douglas has to go back to get it. There's Wilson. They're prepared to keep it alive. Redcliffe. Here's Peter Robinson. Strong defence from Cotter. Cotter comes in a second time to make sure he wasn't going to crawl forward, I think. Certainly wasn't going to get up and run. There's Singleton kicking from inside his 40, but not angled for the touchline. Leon Yateman gets it. And again, the Tigers will have to work it away from their own try line. Peter Turner. The defence again strong. They're there in numbers.
They're there in numbers and they're doing everything right, aren't they, Greg? When you look at the way Redcliffe are playing this game, I mean, the follow through there of Bevan Canning with the tackle. They've got the kick, they've got the chase, they're passing beautifully, just doing it as if they're nice and relaxed and enjoying life.
That's the secret to success, doing the little things right, as Dale Williams makes a bus up the middle. But once again, turning it over. And Redcliffe, they're hungry for this. You can see that, as you said, you can tell by a side's hunger with the kick chases as the linesman's coming in, by the kick chasing. And when the ball goes on the ground, they're first to it.
Touch judge on here, I think, to report perhaps Doug Evans.
Okay, for that tackle. Okay. All right. Right, we've had enough chats to him, I think. Okay.
Wow, that's interesting. Cesarago saying the ref was
I've had
there.
enough of the talking, all right? Go and have 10.
Oh, he's got 10 minutes. Well, the touch judge said we've spoken to him enough time. Cesarago saying you saw it. Why did you need a touch judge to come in? And Doug Evans has been asked to cool his heels. He's going to run toward the touch judge. No, he's not. He's just going toward the bench. Oh, that's unnecessary. That is unnecessary.
But it means that Redcliffe now have another chance, and so the frustration is telling now for East. They are running out of time. That pass might have been a bit forward too to Cleel, and he cops it again, but takes it up. He gets 22 metres out from the line, and it goes across to Russell Layhiff, and he manages to make it across that 20-metre line. Ackerman, Robinson, and held up there by Singleton, and then passed back to Cameron Hurren, and he's tackled. They lost a bit of ground that time, the Dolphins. But again, as far as they're concerned, it's really just a case of using up the time anyway. The offload goes astray. Chance for Connor to pick up for the Tigers, and he does so. So the Tigers down to just 12 men, well and truly behind on the board by 24 points to nil, and only 19 minutes left in the season for them after the frustration of 2 weeks ago. This looks like being devastation for the Tigers. But they're going to use the ball. Big Steve Mills, he's got to be careful of the offload because they've come up with a few spilt pills. And Miller is the man that makes sure he goes to ground. Into dummy half, Sipple, McPherson, and across field. They're losing ground again, and terrific tackling. Chris Essex this time up and making sure that they, well, just go backwards.
Yeah, too flat. The Tigers, if you're going to go wide, you've got to have depth.
Cesarago looking to offload, but wisely deciding in the end as Ackerman and Layhiff were around him to ensure that he went to ground with the ball. McPherson almost juggled it, was able to get it to Yateman, but there's no gaps for Yateman. Miller drives him, piles him into the ground, 12 short of the halfway line. Still a chance as a kick comes from McPherson, but the ball goes into touch, just unable to go across that touch line, knowing that Redcliffe will get the feet into the scrum, 20 metres in their own territory. Redcliffe 24, East Mill.
Miller there, just at the moment the kick was taken to knock McPherson off his feet. But McPherson, who's tried very, very hard today, as all the Tigers have. It has certainly not been through lack of effort that the boys have gone down this afternoon. 3 what you might call freakish tries, certainly 2 freakish ones. Really set the Tigers back on their heels. An intercept and then a drop ball and a run over 90-odd metres. Essex bumps out of the few. And then, of course, they tried from dummy half just before half-time. Well, that was a sickening blow for the Tigers, who went in at 18-0 down. They've suffered another try in the second half. The Dolphins have been dominant. Could play the ball. Adam Mogg gets away from the marker, tries to straighten up, and finally Williams, who chased the marker, made the tackle. Good quick play the ball. Ackerman pops it up to Gould. The long pass out here nicely to Aaron Douglas, back on the inside to Hinchy, but he's put it on the deck. And Redcliffe, who have been under next to no pressure today, have thrown the ball around with fairly gay abandon, and in general it's paid dividends for them. Now on the changeover, Potter punched in defence, was a high one.
Over the top 8.
Cleal it was, he came in high. I don't think that'll be the last caution. There it is, over the top. And Cleal, who has been a target for some of the Tigers today, comes in with a heavy tackle of his own. He's certainly been one of Redcliffe's best in both this game and the final of last week. Now can they get some points on the board? They'd certainly love to do that and save a little bit of face. Jamie Day with some very strong defence there from Russell Layhiff. And also Ackerman. He's tried a little set piece out there to Mills. Mills looks for a little bit of room to get the hand free, but can't. They've got the Redcliffe defence rolling backwards. They've still got 12 men though, so it's a bit harder for the Tigers to create that extra man. Potter does well to roll them back a bit further. Good quick play the ball. Williams fires the pass up to Robbie Braun, who was just sort of loitering near the ruck play. That's the 5th tackle. Will they run it? Cesarago decides to hoist it in the air. It's gone fairly deep though. Selwyn Toby. No! Sipple! Sipple has snatched it away from Selwyn Toby. And to the everlasting credit of the Tigers, they've come forward to catch that one. Snatch it away from Toby. They get their first try. It's 24-4 with 16 minutes to go in the Brisbane Grand Final.
Well, the time had to come for East to get a little bit of fortune too. And there's the high kick. Now the follow through there, Selwyn Toby and Cameron Hurren both going for it, almost a mix-up between those two, and enabling Scott Sipple to snatch it out of the air. It's a good kick, it's well weighted, and Toby had to cover a bit of ground, and because of that misunderstanding, it was probably Cameron Hurren who should have taken the ball for Redcliffe, but he hesitated because he saw Toby there, and that hesitation was enough to see Sipple slip between them, take the ball and put it down for the try.
It epitomises the determination of the Tigers today. They've certainly been very determined. The ball hasn't bounced their way, but it took a very determined effort there by Scott Sipple to wedge himself between those 2 receivers. As Jerry said, they basically got in each other's road in the end, and Sipple had no other thought than the ball. When he got in there, I thought Toby had it covered, and Sipple got in there to snatch it away from him, and the Tigers will not have to suffer the indignity of a 0 scoreline. He's got it for 4 points, and Sipple now can convert his own try. Across the breeze, not far out though. He just pushes it, but just gets it inside that right-hand upright. 24-6 it is in favour of the Dolphins.
Well, it's a great crossfield kick by the skipper, Mark Cesarago, across into the breeze, and that's where it held up. And then, as you said, although Toby had that, but Scotty Sipple said no, he kept his eye on the ball the whole time. It was a great kick coming down just on the try line, and the 24-6 gives East a bit of hope. At least they've scored.
Yes, that'll be some consolation for them. They'd like to put on a couple more, I'm sure, before the game's over. Kick off now.
And they can put on a couple more, Dave, and convert them.
Well,
they could give us an exciting finish, but it's not looking very likely with 14 minutes to go.
18 points in it, so they would need a couple of very, very quick tries. McPherson. And they're still, I think, down to 12 men, so they've scored that try with only 12 men on the field.
They've got 2 minutes to go with 12 men.
Jamie Day to play this one. This time, Sippel flies it up to Mills, tries to bump out of one, but the Redcliffe defence has been strong all day. McPherson, here's a chance on the outside if they can fire it out there. Yes, they do. There's Yateman. Can he get on the outside of Wilson? Oh, why wouldn't he try and use Robbie Braun there? Yateman decided to try and beat Wilson and couldn't get away. Wilson quickly there. Now Williams has got a hold of it. George Wilson racing up and really putting some pressure on. Jamie Day kicks it on the 5th tackle, but really, if he could have kept it alive there, they had numbers out on this side. Albeit the last tackle, you've really got to try and play attacking football. That, to me, was somewhat defensive. This time, Cameron Hurren. There is the high shot coming in from Jamie Day.
You keep doing the high tackles, and I'll keep penalising you. You keep throwing around. Good on you, Nine.
And keeps talking Williams. Here's the frustration coming out. It certainly was high. That's silly from Dale Williams. But you can perhaps understand just how the East boys feel at the moment. And not a good kick from Wilson, but it's good enough to find touch. Doug Evans, I think, is due back on shortly. About a minute or so still to go. Wayne Miller. They were a 12-man defensive line. Redcliffe in total command. Ian Graham takes it up the middle off an angled run. Wheels in position to take another settler, and here he is up the middle. Rushes out of one. Stays alive. Ian Graham holds it behind his back for a moment. Bit of a trick play, that one. Out on the left-hand side to Gould. They've got numbers here if they can exploit it. There's James Hinchy, straightens it up, going very close. Leon Yateman's got a hold of him. Hinchy pops it up. Yes! Yes, it's been tucked in flight as well. The try has been scored. I think it may be Cameron Hurren who scored it. No, Aaron Douglas perhaps. And that could be his hat-trick. Aaron Douglas off a good pass ultimately from Hinchy. And why wouldn't you try the pass so close to the line? They've already had that commanding lead. The game was wrapped up. And now it's 28-6. Douglas a hat-trick.
Yes, a tremendous performance, and Redcliffe just way too good. And there's Hinchy, who scored that dramatic last-moment try in the Queensland Cup Grand Final, and he's able to slip it away there. And Hurren was the man just sitting right behind him. Aaron Douglas it was, rather, and he was able to take the ball and put it down. So there it is. Hinchy looked as though he was going to score himself, got close to the line, turned around, managed to offload. It went along a yellow jumper and straight into Aaron Douglas's hands for his third.
Well, it's his third try, and they couldn't be any more different, these three tries. This one was from about 100 millimetres out. He had to score this one. His first was from about 90 metres out. And, of course, the other one was a backup try off George Wilson. So Aaron Douglas, all smiles, as the Dolphins are. They've had the mandatory short haircut for this particular game. I wonder, Jerry, after you've won one grand final and done that, 2 weeks later, what's next?
You dye it pink. What's left, that is.
That story about you going to the barber and say how much for a haircut. He says $12. How much for a shave? $5. Well, shave my head. And that's what the boys have had done. Singleton, can he keep this very impressive kicking record in place? This is a tough one across the breeze. That's the toughest one he's had today, but really no pressure on.
4 from 5 so far.
Can he make it 5 from 6? It really won't have any bearing on the game. Hits it, but hooks it around to the side. So 28-6, a commanding and dominant performance from the Dolphins.
Yeah, you're right there. How many times have you heard this? Gould offloads to Hinchy. And Hinchy, great step back inside there, but great defence from Leon Yateman to hold him up. And then he pops a pass out. Aaron Douglas, Johnny on the spot, touches down for his hat-trick. And it's a good comeback by him too, after being injured last year, David.
Doug Evans back on the field to make up the full complement for the Tigers. They were with 12 men when that try was scored.
Redcliffe just about have it all sewn up now. We're down within less than 10 minutes to go. 28 points to 6 they lead. Troy Lindsay, and the celebrations can start for Redcliffe now. Just in their minds, they'd be totally on top of the world out there and be probably feeling like Superman. Essentially offloads to Miller. Miller goes through a gap. There's a man in support, Mogg, but he goes back and looks for somebody else, and finally gets into Ackerman, and he's tackled 40 metres out from the line.
Half the team overran him.
Hinchy, Ian Graham. Graham would be absolutely loving it, and he's caught still about 35 metres out from the line. Now Ackerman goes from dummy half, picks up another 10, and it's oh so easy for the Dolphins. Miller to dummy half, away to Gould, over the top pass, chance out wide for Wilson. Oh, that pass was a wild throw in the end that was going well and truly forward. And Stewie Burns says we'll have the changeover. 28 points to 6 in favour of Redcliffe. The clock now down to 8 minutes to go, and poor old Scott Nielsen is being forced backwards, and really they've got such a tough job in front of them that they can't do it now, the Tigers. On their own 20-metre line, the ball played there, and slowly but surely there he is back on the field, Dougie Evans, after being sent for a 10-minute spell. But even by the time he had gone to the sin bin, it looked like it was pretty all over. Sipple with the offload, and Yateman's lost it forward. Will Redcliffe come up with it? They'll be quite content to have the scrum. No, they, well, in the end, they come up with the ball, but there was no rush to get it. Now Miller.
Untidy play the ball, but he got away with it.
Ian Graham. He decides to say, well, let's go straight at the line, and is caught 25 metres out. Ackerman, Gould with the little kick. There are men chasing through here. A chance as well. Can Aaron Douglas come up with 4? No, the ball going across the dead ball line. Besides which fact, I think Douglas might have even been in front of the kicker there, but he is certainly travelling quickly, so he must have been confident that he was onside. 28-6, only 7 minutes to go.
And that's why you can try these things at 28-6. It's really, well, maybe we can get another try, and Aaron Douglas putting plenty of pressure on, but the ball just going out over the dead ball line. East now losing the incentive to drive themselves on. 28-6, they'd still like to finish with another try, and it would be fitting if it was a glamorous try. We've seen them score some great tries this year, and even though they've been outplayed today, they certainly haven't been outplayed this season. They have played in 2 grand finals, which is a fine effort. Cesarago pops it back on the inside, picked up there by Dale Williams, fires it out there to Jamie Day. Can't get away though. The Redcliffe defence, Greg, you've got to hand it to them. We've mentioned a few times how solid Redcliffe have been, but their defence has been one of the features as well.
Well, that's what's won it for them here today, David. They've just kept on turning up, and their defence has been punishing.
This bloke's had a great game. George Wilson back on the inside. Cover defence, I think, from Wakefield was the only man to save the day. Stewie Burns says, put some pride in your game. He's encouraging the Tigers to keep it going. I'm sure they will. Back on the inside to Aaron Douglas. Kept alive through Ackerman. Out to Adam Mogg. He throws the dummy. Fades across the face of the ruck. Travis Baker lets him go. Mogg tries to play it, got knocked to the ground. And he's going to pack a scrum. Well, he's going to call it, but he's lost it forward.
Ground, for a penalty.
Well, interesting. He put it on the ground and then didn't go on with playing the ball, albeit he was knocked to the ground.
Yes, he's suggesting that basically he was milking a penalty. Well, he just lost his balance, yeah.
I thought the penalty probably should have gone to the Dolphins, but at this stage it really doesn't matter.
Travis Baker, we've hardly spotted him all day, and he scored just short of the 20 in his own line. And he's one of those players in the East lineup that normally you would rate the sort of match winner that would be very important in a grand final.
It's a very good point, Jerry. We really haven't seen this East back line in action at all, have we? And there's another knock on as they lose a bit of concentration, the boys. But really, they haven't used their back line as we perhaps would have expected.
Well, that's why, because they haven't controlled the ball in the middle.
Cleo, wow, what an offload by Cleo to Ackerman and back to Miller. Miller, back to Ackerman again. What a combination, and stepping back inside, Cunning has scored. He's over again. Now the celebrations can well and truly start for the Dolphins. They go to a 32 points to 6 lead. Bevan Canning scores another try for them, and it's all red and white.
What a pass from Cleal. He's had a great game, Cleal, to keep this going. He's played in the tough stuff all day. He's been targeted by the Tigers, and yet he was still able to offload this ball. Have a look at this. Plenty of attention. They went high on him. The big man pops it out the back door. Ackerman keeps it alive. Fires the pass up here to Miller. Good pass out again to Ackerman. He looks on the outside and finds Bevan Canning. The step and the duck. What's this? Underneath. And almost loses it. Just manages to control it and get it down. And that's what happens when you're leading 28 points to 6, you know, with a couple of minutes to go in the grand final. You can do these things. You can duck, you can dive, you can have the ball dislodged, and somehow or other they all seem to stick because confidence is sky high, and you can just go on and play it with all your ability. Have a look at this. Bevan Canning, step back on the inside, under Sipple. The ball was just controlled against his rump almost, and eventually got the downward pressure. Miller to Ackerman, to Cleal, the dummy, Stuggy Evans, one last shot at him. The two have had a battle royale today, Evans and Cleal. They've given as good as they've got after that battle they had 2 weeks ago. And the pass out here to Bevan Canning, straightens up, ducks under, and just manages to control it and get it on the ground.
And if it was a grand final where you really needed that try, probably the ball would have spilt. But when you're in front and everything's going with you, he seemed to have lost it about 3 times there, in front of him, behind him, beside him, but still managed to have control and put it down. Anthony Singleton, this is wide out, and there is absolutely no pressure whatsoever. It's all over this time. And 2 weeks ago, there was the pressure of the world on his shoulders, and he's kicked this one anyway, without the pressure there.
Salt in the wounds.
Absolutely, and it's 34 points to 6 in favour of the Dolphins. They've won the grand final over the Tigers.
Yeah, they certainly have. This is a good try. This, once again, East not putting the player on the deck, but good hands here from a lot of the players. But that was a great pass in from Ackerman. Remember, he was in Disneyland 20 minutes ago. He threw the cutout pass and hit Bevan Canning, ducked under Sipple, and yeah, boy, aren't they happy. And you should have seen Singleton when he kicked that goal.
Redcliffe now just have to party for 2 more minutes on the football field and for a couple of months off it. Ian Graham losing the ball there, but the referee has allowed play to go on. Bevan Canning, who just scored the try, caught 15 short of the halfway line. And Troy Lindsay for a good, strong run. And what a celebration it's going to be on the peninsula. They're the first team to come up with a double, the Queensland Cup and the Brisbane Premiership, and still the penalties go against the poor old hapless Tigers. And as a result, they go back into their own territory. The clock ticks down to 1.5 minutes to go. Redcliffe 34, leading East 6. And George Wilson will kick for touch and find it well and truly in Tigers territory. So what a grand final for the Redcliffe Dolphins, and how frustrating has it been for the Tigers. They led for the entire 80 minutes, apart from after the bell, as Cleal goes for the line and is stopped just short of it. Maybe Redcliffe can score again. Away to Robinson. Robinson takes the tackle, 12 metres out from the line. Ackerman at dummy half. There are men lining up. It goes back. Ian Graham, field goal attempt. It's kicked it. What a hero! Superhero Ian Graham. And he'll talk about that for the rest of his footballing career. How in the last moment of his football life, playing for Redcliffe, when the grand final was won, he dropped the field goal as easy as you like. Monsieur le drop, Ian Graham. And Redcliffe lead by 35 points to 6.
And Jerry, it's interesting to see that all the tries have been scored by the 3 quarters, so they've given it plenty of width there, but what a finish for Ian Graham for his career.
One scrum will get over it, all right?
Johnny Boxall, absolutely delighted. Again, 2 weeks ago, he was chewing on the fingernails. Number 1, he says, twice in a row. Yes, indeed they are. The Redcliffe Dolphins, 15 seconds left on the clock. So this scrum will be it. The Tigers win it, but they certainly don't win the game and they don't win the premiership. So all they can do is drop the ball. And the disappointment continues. Bevan Canning, be careful, he might put another one on the Tigers. No, he can't. And that's it. Full time. The 1997 premiers are the Redcliffe Dolphins, and they are indeed in all 3 grades. They won the Colts, they won the A grade, and they've won the Premier grade premiership. Redcliffe 35, East 6, after Redcliffe also won the Queensland Cup. And the red and white army from up on the peninsula have come down to watch a great grand final. And they look pretty pleased with themselves too. But spare a thought for the East Tigers. It must be pretty devastating for them. After losing that previous grand final after the bell, they would have come out here thinking, we've really got to put it together and claim something out of the season. But we can go down to the sideline because John Boxall, the winning coach, is with Greg Dowling.
Congratulations, John. 2 grand finals in 2 weeks, but this one here, a pretty comprehensive victory in the end.
Yeah, Greg, yeah, mate. We enjoyed ourselves after the last one, and we only just got back together on Monday night, and we were confident all week, and we had a few things to play for today, and the boys just showed today they come up with the goods, mate.
Yeah, well, it's true testament to the club and your coaching as well to keep the guys' minds focused, because you won the grand final. You could be forgiven to say, well, that's it. They've come out here, and as I said, it was a comprehensive victory. The forwards played well, and the backs, well, they were superb, scoring all the points.
Yeah, mate, they just enjoyed themselves, and this shows today, like, everyone played to their ability. That was a talk all week. Just all play to ability, and we'll blow them off the paddock and look at the scoreline. That was great.
And what about Ian Graham at the end there? Last game for the club, the field goal. What a legend.
Yeah, mate, that wasn't in the script, but good luck to Ian, and we'll wish him all the best and his family in the future. Great player.
And good luck to yourself, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
It has been well done by John Boxall.
Man of the match, Grant. They don't come much tougher than that, even though the scoreline was fairly wide. It was certainly physical.
It certainly was, yeah. It was very hard for us. I'm sure it was hard for East too to come up mentally, but I think we did that. It's either side of the coin, you know. Losing and winning 2 weeks before, it was always going to be hard for either side. But I think it was a good game of footy, like you said. Barring the scoreline, it was a good game.
Must have been all that hard training you did after the first grand final, was it?
Yeah, we put a lot of work into our haircuts.
You could have had a shave today.
I'm actually on holidays from work. G'day at the Leagues Club, everyone, at Redcliffe. Yeah, I'm on holidays for a few weeks, mate, so I'm letting loose.
Of course, Redcliffe got away to a fly, didn't you? Got a couple of tries that weren't exactly soft tries, but certainly against the run of play, and that made a big difference.
Yeah, they were very lucky tries. Hey, mate, this is my young bloke, Tyson.
What's your young fella's name?
Tyson.
Tyson, look over here, Tyson.
Look over here, mate.
There you are. Didn't your daddy play well?
Yeah, just getting back to that. Yeah, it was. We had a lot of possession in that first half, and we knew that at half time, so we sort of knuckled down with our defence. I thought their try was a lucky try without taking anything away from them, but yeah.
You're going to have a beer with Dougie Evans after the game. You're sort of pretty close to each other right throughout the game.
Yeah, we'll be mates off the field, I'm sure.
We had a terrific game today. Well done, and well done to the Dolphins too. 2 premierships in 2 weeks is a great effort.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you, ABC, for covering a good year.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Well, Captain Courageous, Robbo, how was it out there?
I started out nice and tough. The whole game was tough. Just glad to get away with it. We can have a rest now.
Well, as I said to Box before, it goes to show the first one wasn't a fluke 2 weeks ago. You comprehensively went out there and did the job. The forwards were superb. Grant Clear was beautiful. And you marshalled the backs well because they scored all the tries.
Yeah, I think the forwards went forward. You can't do any more than that. We didn't get much credit for winning the state final. No press, no nothing. We just wanted to prove a point to say it wasn't a fluke, and we ran away with it, really.
Well, the beer will be tasting very sweet tonight up at the Moreton Bay, won't it?
It certainly will at the Lees Club, and hopefully they'll shout this week.
Well, good on you and congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Thank you.
And those celebrations will be great ones up on the peninsula. Even the smallest of fans, as the youngsters join their dads. And what a special moment. And while he might not quite remember that, certainly Dad will.
everyone. Great to have your company here at the arena in Geelong for the men's grand final in the 1997 CBA Championship. This is the national title. The 3 conference titles have been decided. Then they cross over to meet for the national championship. And for the first time in CBA history, it's an all Northern Conference affair. 3 teams from the east, 3 from the south were blown away by the 2 teams from the north, the Cairns Marlins and the Suncoast Clippers from the Sunshine Coast. This is how the teams got there. And in the meet up with Hobart, who were the Southern champions, Cairns were victorious, keeping Hobart 28 points underneath their season average. They set their stock on defence, the Cairns Marlins, and they're in their 2nd ever national championship. Suncoast, they beat Broadmeadows in overtime to meet their nemesis, the Cairns team, who have beaten them 3 times out of 4 this season up north. And most importantly, 2-0 was the win for Cairns over Suncoast in the Northern Conference Championship. Joining us in commentary, as usual, is Gordy McLeod, who coaches the AIS in the Continental Basketball Association. Gordy, why was the North so dominant nationally this season?
Well, obviously there's been 2 very good teams, and they've caught the South teams on the hop, and it's very hard to go up and play up in Cairns and the travel and play, but they are 2 deserved finalists, and I think we're really going to be into for a very physical encounter. There's no lot of rivalry between these two teams. I believe
they were almost fighting at the airport.
Well, it could have been, but I think, you know, they're both very hard teams. They're both very well coached. I think it's really going to come down to the matchups in the paint, who gets on top of that, and whether the Cairns Marlins can take Billy Ross out of the game. I think they'll be the key matchups in this game tonight.
Very rare in men's basketball to see a team without a player 200 centimetres, and yet the Cairns Marlins have won 3 out of their 4 meetings and have won the Northern Championship with just that.
Well, they've built their game on their defence, and obviously when they've been able to hold teams Hobart underneath what their average is, means they do it very, very well. So they play very good team defence. Obviously it's physical, they get after it, and I think we're going to be in for a very enjoyable game.
Well, if it is going to be a physical game, we've got 2 good referees in charge to keep it under control. Alan Godden, who's called a violation there at the jump, and Andrew O'Sullivan in charge here.
You can really expect,
as we take a look at the starting 5s, they're both chock full of scoring potential. We've got the 2 best rebounders in the Northern Conference here coming up against one another. So it's the team from Cairns in the aqua, the purple are the Clippers from the Suncoast, and they score first up through Ryan Stolberg, who's had a huge national final series. So first blood to the Suncoast.
Very good, strong move getting to the hole. You see both teams trying to get to the basket early.
And away goes Morrison. Gives the ball across to Ben Castle. One of the number of former NBL players out there.